Blessings and welcome to today's Law Enforcement Daily Devotional. Today we are in Ezra chapters 7 and 8. And we had read Ezra, went to Esther, back in Ezra. And a lot of this, we left Ezra in the reign of King Artaxerxes, and then Esther was inserted. And I wonder if the developers or the creators of this, when you read, looked at it chronologically and decided that Esther belonged in this part of Ezra, which goes back to the argument of, is it King Artaxerxes or not? Today, whether Esther is or not, today we start and we're back in the reign of King Artaxerxes, who is the antagonist in the movie 300, if you remember that. So King Artaxerxes has granted Ezra's request to go back to Jerusalem and work on the city and to take all of the Jews with him. And Artaxerxes gives him gives him a letter of protection to take with him, and basically spelling out that anybody that comes across him that tries to stand in Ezra's way, King Artaxerxes is behind Ezra and will come to his aid if need be, basically. Also, it granted permission that if Ezra needs material and you're the governor of a certain region, King Artaxerxes says you will give him up to so much of wood and gold and silver and all these things. So this is a very important letter from the king of the known world at this time. In chapter 7, verse 26, yesterday we finished with Mordecai being the second in command of the whole kingdom, which kind of leads into this. It makes sense that king and King Artaxerxes could be the same guy, because how else would King Artaxerxes write this letter with such knowledge of who God is, unless someone had taught him? And since Mordecai became number 2 in the country and had so much influence, he could easily teach Artaxerxes about the God of heaven, the God of gods. So it's an interesting little argument of whether or not these two kings are the same or not. It really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but it's a neat conversation. Chapter 8, verse 15. With all of the Israelites assembled and ready to go back, Ezra realized there were no Levites in the group, and so he had to go out and get some Levites to go with them, because the Levites are the ones who are in charge of the temple and the gate guards. And I mean, they have so much responsibility and authority when it comes to the temple. So you can't go back to Jerusalem without taking any Levites with you. So you make sure you get some Levites. And then in 8:21, I love this. They had a proclamation from King Artaxerxes, which anybody in their right mind would have followed that letter to the law, of the law, and would have done what it said, because you didn't want to incur the wrath of King Artaxerxes. But instead of just relying on that, what Ezra and the other people do is they pray and they fast. They pray, they fast, and they humble themselves before the Lord, and they ask for God's protection on the trip. And then as we read on down, we read in chapter 8, verse 32, that God provided and protected them all the way home. It was a great way to end today's read. Tomorrow we're going to be in Ezra chapters 9 and 10. I hope you're able to read ahead and come back here and let's get a law enforcement takeaway. Until then, you guys be safe.